At the last curriculum committee meeting, board member Carmen Alvarez said there were some pushback regarding the updated state standards for the health curriculum. In response, Supervisor Yale Snyder said, quote, "What has changed is really the standards, but if you walk into the classroom, the instruction that the teacher is delivering is the same as it has been, even though the state standards have changed. Why hasn't the classroom instruction adapted to the new state standards? What exact standards were referenced at the curriculum committee meetings for which teachers are not changing their instruction?" I'd like to stop. The curriculum committee actually discussed which specific standards the teachers are not changing their instructions to, and I think the public has a right to know whether this district is abiding by the state standards. Are we abiding by the state standards or not?
Yes, we are, and that was made clear in the curriculum committee meeting. We are following the state standards.
So that means instruction is adapting to the new standards.
We are following the state standards as required by the law.
But it was said that the instruction was not being changed.
No, that is not what was said.
It was. It says, and I quote, "If you walk into the classroom, the instruction the teacher is delivering is the same as it has been, even though the state standards have changed." That was said at that meeting. So what particular standard was referred to, because it wasn't mentioned at the meeting?
We are following all of the state standards.
Okay, so you're not going to tell me
Dr.
which
Lehman,
standard
are we
was...
following all of the state
Which
standards?
standard was referenced for which the instruction is not changed?
Are we following all of the
Yes,
state standards?
our standards are followed, correct. And what he means by, what Mr. Schneider meant by that is the instruction that's happening in our classrooms right now is consistent and meets the old standards, and the wording and the changes that were made in the new standards don't impact the day-to-day of what we've been doing. Just because the wording changes in the standard doesn't mean there has to be a radical overturning of what's instructed in the classroom. The way we were teaching and the concepts and the content we were teaching before the changes is the same content that we're teaching now.
I wasn't suggesting there should be a radical change. I just thought there would be some change since the state standards had changed. But you're saying that there's
We are
no
following
change.
the
I'm
state
saying
standards.
the instruction previous,
Okay.
and this is, the writers of the document are the instructors of the classes, is consistent with what is expected and what will be instructed in the new standards. Oftentimes they change wording, oftentimes they change phraseology. Things like this are updated every 5-6 years. We just had an update, and we'll see some new documents in the next year or so for updated language arts and math standards. And I can give you an example in math, just because we talked about it today. The way we look at money and we teach money is different than we taught money students like in kindergarten and first grade, how to handle coins and things, because now we have debit cards and credit cards and things like that. So there has to be a different approach to teaching the content. It doesn't change how we count money. It doesn't change a quarter and a nickel and a dime, but we have to include just a different way to approach it. So that's an example.
Thank you,
Okay, yeah,
Dr.
but
Lehman.
I wanted an example for the health curriculum, because I know it was controversial and there was some pushback. So have parents opted to opt out of that curriculum? If so, how many?
The health curriculum is not on our agenda this evening.
It was discussed at the curriculum committee meeting, so I thought it was fair to discuss it here.
No. Ms. Belko, was it?
Well,
was.
yes, excuse me, it was discussed, the 6th, 7th, and 8th, it was part of that. It was part of that discussion. But the discussion as far as any changes, there are no changes.
No changes, there are no
Because we've already
changes.
been teaching to those standards that just were in place. So any document changes, and the full curriculum is available online. You can read it. And you can I'm so sorry. So it was, if I may, I'm sorry, I
Yes, Ms.
spoke
Belko.
out of turn. The curriculum did discuss the phys ed and health curriculums that are out there. The standards that we are currently teaching to are the same standards we've been teaching to. They were previously and are now, meet the current standards that are out there, and all of the curriculum information is out there for you to view online. And we have all the points that, we have covered all the points, and we are not teaching anything that is outside of the standards or wildly controversial.
Thank you.
And
Do you have
parents
any more-
always have the option, sorry, parents always have the option to opt their students out of any particular section of curriculum that they don't want their students to be taught in school. I would hope that those parents would teach those curriculum standards at home to their liking, but you always have the option to opt out.
Thank you, Ms. Belko.